right, hello. Okay, so this is Miss Cortez. I'm going to show the second violin Spartacus people how to write in the fingerings for their music, and then after that, we're gonna play it. We're just gonna do beginning to where it goes fast here at 30, at least in this video. All right, so first here, we have 2 measures of rest, and there are 4, excuse me, there are 4 beats of rest per measure. So in our head, we're gonna think 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Here, this little bar that's sitting on top of the line means there's 2 beats of rest. So we'll think in our head 1, 2, and then here we begin to play. So this will be a first finger and then an open. Or you can use 4th finger. This is an A, so it'd be open A, or it would be 4th finger on the D string. You can use either one. There's gonna be some cases where it's only use open or only use 4. This is either or. Okay, then we have, this is 4 beats long. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, 2 beats of rest, so we can mark that as 1, 2. And then here, this is our 3rd finger, and this is our 2nd finger. And this note is sharp, so it'll be a high 2, or if you have tapes, it'll be on the tape. Okay, once again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, rest, rest, resting on beats 1 and resting on beats 2. And then you play on beats 3 here, as you've been doing in this whole pattern. However, it says D-I-V, that means divisi. So you're going to play either the top notes or the bottom notes. It depends on where you're sitting and what you've been assigned to. So let's first look at if you're a top note player. This is where you should do 4th finger because the E string can sound kind of like nasally. It doesn't always sound very nice. So we can also add vibrato here if we use our 4th finger. So I'm gonna put a little 4 right there. And then the next note for the top player would be a 3. These notes are on your A string. The bottom player, these notes are also on your A string. You're gonna do a 1, and then you can do open, or you can do 4, whichever one is easier for you. Okay, moving on to measure 9. Once again, 2 beats of rest, and we're still divisi. Your stand partner is playing a different note than you. So let's look at the top notes. The top notes, this is a C natural, which is also low 2 on your A string. So instead of your fingers being this far apart, they'll be next to each other. It will not be on the tape. It'll be close to your 1st finger. Your 1st finger doesn't move. It's just your 2nd finger that moves. Okay, so this is gonna be a 2. And the next note is 1. So your 1 is on the tape, your 2 is not. So da, da. The bottom player, you're on a different string. You're on your D string, and you're gonna use 3rd finger and then 2nd finger. This will be on the tape. So your finger spacing, 3rd finger on the tape, 2nd finger on the tape. Okay, this is only 3 beats long. 1, 2, 3, rest on beat 4. And now you see the notes are just 1 instead of double like this. So now we're back to being together, all playing the same notes here. So this is open. This is your open G, it's your lowest string. And then you jump up, 1st finger on your D string, and then open D, which I think sounds just fine. You could use 4th finger on the G string, but you don't have to. Once again, we can recognize this is the same placement. Now we see we have a dot, but that doesn't affect the sound of the note. It affects how long we hold it for, but it doesn't affect the pitch. The pitch is the same. Same. It's still an open G. So we'll put an open. Okay. Or 0, same thing. Okay, the next note is right above it, but still on the lowest string, and this is a 2, it will be on the tape. Here, let's use an open D for this. You could use a 4th finger, but if you're not feeling very confident, my hands are dry, sorry. If you're not feeling very confident in how your fingers move on the fingerboard, it'll probably be easiest for you to go 2, open, and now we're on the D string. 1, 2, on the tape. You could put an arrow pointing up. That means it's a sharp on the tape. And then 3, that 3rd finger is also on the tape. And then you have to jump strings. This is the D string. This note is on your A string, so they won't be on the same place. This will be higher. So this is 1 on your A string, and then let's do open A. We don't have to do 4th finger there. We don't want to. If you want to do 4th finger, you can do that. It's totally fine, it's up to you. And then here, we're back on the D string. So let's do 3 and 2. It's still a high 2 because it's F sharp. So every single F that I find in this piece of music is going to be F sharp unless it says otherwise. And the way that I know it says otherwise, it might have this little natural symbol. But if we see it, we see it. If we don't, we don't. Okay, so let's keep going. We're now at measure 14. This is going to be a 1 on your D string. And this will be a 2 on the G string. Let's use open D again, that's fine. 1 on the D string. 3, 2, is it a high 2? Yes, because we just figured that out. All of them are going to be high 2s, or on the tape 2s. See this, the pitch is the same. The length of time that the note takes up is different, but the pitch is the same. So this is a 2. Then we have open D. We definitely want open D. I really do not recommend 4th finger for this one. Reason being, if you were to do 4th finger, let's see, we have 2 on the D string, then 4 on the G, then back to 1 on the D. That's just gonna feel clumsy and awkward. So let's just keep everything on the D string. So we have 1, 2, you already know it's a high 2. It's gonna stay the same. Here, let's definitely use 4th finger. For the A string and the E string, those notes tend to be tinny. That's a sound. It can have tinny, sharp sounding, and I don't mean in pitch. I just mean like kind of grating. Sometimes it just doesn't sound very good. Sometimes we want that sound. In this piece right here, in this moment in the music, we don't really want that sound. So we're gonna use 4 on the D string. Oh, that looks really bad. If you ever write it where you're like, I don't know if I'd be able to recognize that, go ahead and erase it and try again. There we go. That I would be able to recognize a little better. Okay, and then we're 3 on the D string. And once again, same sort of thing as we have here. The length of time that the note takes up changes, but the actual pitch itself remains the same. So another 3. Now here we have that natural symbol. We also have that natural symbol up here. The top player played a low 2 on their A string. It's the exact same note here. I'm gonna put a 2, and I like to put a down arrow to remind myself it's a low 2. This doesn't have a natural symbol, but it's still natural. When we have an accidental like this, it's not in the key signature, it's not normal in this piece of music to play that. It applies to every single note in the measure. So this is a low 2, that's a low 2, that's a low 2, are all low 2s. So you can write it again if you'd like to. I'm gonna just leave it blank. Here, the 3rd note though, we have an E. Let's definitely use 4th finger for that, so that way it doesn't like come out really sharp and loud. Once again, I don't mean sharp in pitch, I mean in tone quality. The tone is kind of grating and sharp. Okay, we've moved on to measure 18. In measure 18, we have some tricky notes here. We're gonna do a regular on the tape 4, just like this. This is on the tape. But then the next note, it's the same note, so it's placed the same, but you've got a flat symbol. So what I like to use is a high 3. And I can explain that more on my instrument. This is an E natural, this is an E flat. So it's gonna be lower in pitch, but we're gonna use a different finger. The finger pattern is gonna be like this. They're gonna be close together. 4, 3. Okay, moving on. 19, hey, you've seen this pattern before. You saw it right here at the beginning. 2 beats of rest, a half note, which is 2 beats long, and then a whole note, which is 4 beats long. Now we just need to know the notes. We're divisi again. Okay, so let's first look at the top note player. Top note player, you're back to an E natural, which also means 4th finger on the tape. So we'll put, I don't know, let's put it like there. The next note is going to be 3 on the D string. This is the top player. Bottom player, you're going to do 1, and then let's just use open A. That's fine. This is fortissimo, and it's not as grating as an open E, so open A will be fine. Once again, same rhythmic pattern. Let's start with the top notes. Back to that low 2, C natural. And then to a 1. You did that exact same pattern, upper player, right here. You did a low 2 and then a 1 on the tape. Same thing here, low 2, 1 on the tape. And bottom player, you actually have already done this. Look, this is the exact same thing for both of you. A 3 and then a 2. Is it a high 2? It is a high 2 because all of the F sharps are going to be a high 2, unless it has that natural symbol. It does not have it here. 3 and 2. You could put that upper arrow, or you can just write 2. Sometimes if you put too much information, you might get confused. So if you just want to write 2 and you know that you associate that with an on the tape 2, you can do that. Okay, here we once again have 2 measures of rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And then here, you've already played this note before. Let's find it. Right there. It's an open G. It's your lowest string. This measure, I'm going to put a little bracket. The only people who play this note are the second violins. So we really want to make sure that that sounds in tune and on time. In tune, well, you don't have any fingers down, so hopefully your strings are in tune. Make sure to tune your strings before you play. And on time, you want to have your bow set on the string at least 1 measure before you come in. And that's something that you can watch me do as I play it. And then you have 1 full measure of rest. How I know that is, 1, these little lines denote that this is 1 measure. So in here, we don't have any notes written in here. So it's just got to be silence. But another thing we can look at is this little bar has fallen down. It fell through. It's like a hole. So if you look over here, the bar is sitting on top of the line. But here, it got so heavy, it's 4 beats long, it fell through. So it's 4 beats of rest. But this is going to go by a lot faster than you think. Dum. Dum. Okay? So have your bow set on the string. Don't move your bow after you play this note. And once again, you'll see me do that as I play it in the video. Okay, so this pitch is higher than this pitch. It's a 1 on the tape, another 1 on the tape, and another 1 on the tape. But different strings. This is your G string, then go up 1 more. This is the D string, go up 1 more. This is the A string. Now we can go back to open A. You can continue with open A here if you like. Here we go. Here's a low 2. So normally you're doing all these F sharps as high 2s, but they added the symbol. So now we're going to do low 2, just like we did on the A string. But this note is on the D string. So we'll put the 2 and then we'll put the down arrow. Okay. The next note, you can do open or you can do 4. Whatever you're more comfortable with. We've got another natural symbol. Okay, but you've seen that before, right there. So you already know, okay, that's low 2. I've done that before. Put a little arrow. But you haven't seen this one. This note is F. Just like that's an F, that's an F, that's an F. And what did we say? All the Fs are going to be sharp. So this one, normally, if there was no symbol there, you would play 1 on the E string on the tape. But this one is 1 on the E string below the tape, closer to the scroll. Not closer to your face or to the bridge, but closer to the scroll. It's like, if this is on the tape, you're gonna go, and like squish it back. This is a F natural and F natural. So you're gonna play it with the 1 on the E string, but it's gonna be lower in pitch. And then finally, we're gonna stop right here. We can play an open E on this. That's totally fine. Because we've changed character. So now if we have like that high open E sound, it really isn't so bad. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to actually playing this. Okay, so now we're actually gonna play this. Feel free to play along if you'd like to. A really important thing we wanna do as we're practicing this is having a metronome on. So that way, when I'm playing this, I don't accidentally practice it too fast or too slow. Because when I get with my other fellow orchestra members and everyone's playing really slow and I'm playing too fast, I'll be like, oh man, I practiced it too fast. I should have practiced it a little bit slower. So when I look at the top of the music, it says quarter note symbol =, 72. So I'm gonna grab my metronome and I'm gonna look at tempo, 72, start. This is the quarter note. So a half note is 2 of these. Da, 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 da. And a whole note is 4 of these. Da, da. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna play it all the way through. I recommend that you pluck along first and then listen to it again and try with the bow. I'm gonna give myself 1 measure of prep by saying 1, 2, ready, go, in time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, there we go. So that was the beginning all the way until the downbeat of 30. At the beginning, you heard a lot of silence. 1, 2, ready, go, and then I just didn't do anything. Hopefully you remember it's because you have 2 measures of rest. So I was counting in my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, bah, and that's when I started to play. Okay, so now I'm going to do that same sort of process, but with the faster section, the second half of the piece of music.